What's going on, guys? This is Phil with Local Vape Distribution and Team Anarchist West Coast, and today I'm going to do a simple tutorial on how to do a basic build for your Hexohm. Now, I'm no build pro at all, so this will be great for people that are maybe beginners or just regular builders. No gargle hoof coils or anything like that is going to take place. It's going to be a simple 10 wrap 24 gauge Anarchist wire. Okay, so bust out my Coil Master kit here, and I use a micro coil jib on the 3mm bit for most of my coils. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna be using today. And like I said, it's gonna be with 24 gauge Anarchist wire, which is my preferred gauge for the Hexohm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unravel about a foot of it. Just clip it off right here. Put all the other stuff to the side. And if you noticed, I'm building on a microfiber cloth, and that's simply because if I drop little pieces of wire or anything, it just falls right on there, and then I can clean it up afterwards. Anybody that's like stepped on a piece of wire knows that that's no fun. All right, so I got two pieces roughly 6-7 inches in size, which would be perfect. Okay, so now the way I do this to me is the most simple way. I'll take my wire on the micro coil jib here, and I'll place it on the actual handle portion here, so I have something to kind of grip it on, okay? Start like this, and then I'll run it over here to the 3mm portion, and then I'll basically just one like simple wraparound just to get the motion on the coil jib, all right? And then how I do this is with my thumb, I place it against the wire, and then all I do is follow it around like this, okay? Get to this portion, then I stop, and I wrap that second piece around with my other finger. So all I'm really doing is just basically pushing the wire around the coil jib. And I can watch it as I do it, so I know that I'm keeping it close together. And also what this will do is it'll apply a little bit of pressure, so it keeps a more like condensed coil. So as I pass that first one, now I'm gonna start to count. So I've got 1, 2 wraps here. Go around 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And by doing it this way, all you're really doing is you're just kind of like twisting on there. And that's the easiest way that I've found to wrap a coil. You can hold your lead and turn it around. If that works for you, that's great. I just like the way that I do it. So at this point, what I'll do is get some pliers out, and I'll grab my left side of this lead, the one that's twisted, the one that I held onto the coil jib, and I'll just grab that and I'll pull it out until it's straight. Now we did one loose wrap just to get it on there, so I'm gonna actually pull this around till it circulates one time, just like that, okay? Now here's the hardest part, is actually going back and counting how many wraps you did, because you'll lose track halfway through. So best way to do this is to cut a small piece of wire, just a tiny piece like this, and use that to actually count the rotations that you did. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, cool. So now at this point, I'm gonna kind of shape the coil to how I like it. And today I'm gonna be using a tugboat to build on, which is my preferred atomizer. So what I'll do is I'll bend these down till they sit just about this, till the legs are crossed, okay? And then I'll take my pliers and I'll grab my left lead when it's facing me. And all I'm gonna do is grab it here at the base and gently pull it up until both legs are sitting parallel, okay? So that's the end result is gonna look just like that. Very simple, very easy, okay? So that's the first coil, and we're gonna do the same exact thing with the second. All right, so tugboat decks, for those of you that know, are the easiest. You know, it's one of the first atomizers I ever used, and it still is one of my favorite. It's my go-to atomizer. I use that in all my competitions. I use a tugboat deck with the Anarchist tugboat competition cap, and to me, that's my favorite. It's what I work the best with, okay? So, just go ahead and loosen these screws. Loosen all 3 screws here. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll take the first coil, and the way that I insert these into the deck is I will take that bent side, the lead side here that you can see with the L bend on it. Okay, that'll be my side post. So what I'll do is I'll just insert these in here. Okay, and then just tuck it in there. Now what I do at this point is I take my coil jib and I'll put it back into the coil on a 3mm piece. All that's really gonna do for me is just hold it in place while I tighten down the first initial screw here on the side. Okay, so I'll hold that in place. And what I do is I hold it pretty close to the deck, as you can see there, and then we can adjust it afterwards. Okay, so I'll tighten my screw. Now when you're working with Anarchist wire, or 24 gauge in general, you don't want to tighten this down too much, especially with Anarchist wire, because it's a high grade competition wire. It's a little softer, so it can tend to pinch or break in there. So I tighten it down till it's snug until I'm done with the process, and I'll go back and I'll tighten them all, okay? So once this initial screw here, this first screw is tightened down, I'll take my coil jib and I'll gently push this coil to kind of center it. And this wire is such good wire, it's super easy to work with, so you won't have a problem doing that. And you don't need to do much. All I'm doing is kind of moving it over. Okay, so now what I'll do at this point is take my wire cutters and then just cut this side wire here at the base. Okay, easy as that. Now this one's pretty much done. Okay. So now what we're left with is my center post and my other lead here that's kind of hanging out there long. So what I'll do is I'll take a pair of pliers and just kind of bend this lead up and off to the side, get it out of the way, like that. You can cut it. I don't like to cut it because what I can actually do is I can still use this, still adjust it if I need. So I'll leave it like that until I have my other lead in there and I start adjusting the center wires, which I'm gonna show you right now. Now that we got the first lead, the first coil, I apologize, put in there, we're gonna go ahead and do the second one. So let me adjust this top screw, the center screw here to Give me that room I need. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing we did on the first one. All we're doing is inserting both leads here. Okay. And again, with the coil jib, I just push it against the posts like so, so I can tighten down my side screw to hold the coil in place. Now I tighten that down firmly, but not too firm. Okay. And again, I'll snip this lead here, point it towards the cloth, it just catches it. Okay. And now we have both of our coils in place, and we just need to tighten down the center screw. And at that point, I will clip the leads after I do that, okay? So I'll take the screwdriver, and again, you want to tighten that firmly, but not too firm. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is take my clippers and I'll bend the lead out to the side a little bit so I can get a better angle when I clip it. I'll clip it as close as I can to the post. Okay, and then all I'll do is I'll take my wire cutters and I'm just gonna find that lead there and I'm just gonna kind of push it against the post to get it out of the way. Okay. I'm gonna do the same with the other side. Move the lead out to the side so I can get a better angle when I cut it. And then find that lead and just gently push it to the side. Okay, so now we have our 10 wrap of 24 gauge Anarchist wire in the tugboat deck. And now all I'm gonna do is adjust them and slightly pull them out away from the post. So I'll put my coil jib in there and all I'm gonna do is just gently pull it out. Okay, and then I'll push it over slightly. And all I'm really doing is making it look nice and also moving it away from the post a little bit. Okay, so I did it to that side, I'm gonna do it to the other. Gently pull it out and push it over. Okay. So this is the end result, and then after you guys get a look at that, I'll pulse it and set the coils, and then cotton it. Okay. So with the Hexohm, you don't want to run a Hexohm lower than, I would say, 0.2 just to be safe, which is the purpose for doing a 10 wrap of 24 gauge. I believe a 10 wrap of 24 gauge ohms out to about a 0.18. That's about as low as I'll go. But to be safe, leave it at about a 0.12, and you don't need to go any lower than that. The Hexohms have a lot of power, and even with a 0.2, 0.25, you're still gonna get, you're still gonna be able to get your clouds and everything, no problem at all. Okay, so with Anarchist wire, because it's competition wire, you're gonna wanna pulse this very, very carefully. That way you don't pop it. So what I'm gonna do is I'll show you what I do is basically just tap it a couple times. I'll just gently keep pulsing it, let the heat transfer through the wire, and you'll see it starts to get orange across the entire thing, okay? So once I get both sides orange, like so, what I'll do is I'll take my tweezers, and as I'm pulsing them, I'll gently pinch it together. So start with this side here. Okay. If you don't have ceramic tweezers, it's not a problem at all. You can use your metal ones. Just don't pulse it when the metal's touching the coils. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll pulse it like so. You take your finger off the button and then gently squeeze and hold it for a few seconds. Okay? So let's bring these both back up to temperature. So this is basically our end result here. And again, this is nothing super technical. All I'm giving you guys is a real easy how-to for those of you that maybe just bought a Hexohm or were wondering how to, the best wrap to do on a Hexohm, okay? So at this point, after I've done that, what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll check the screws, and if one feels a little bit loose, I'll go ahead and I'll give it a tighten. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and check this again. We'll pulse one more time and see how it looks. All right, that looks good to me. So I want to cool my coils down because I want to add cotton to this and get it ready to roll. So the end result is so. And again, the reason we're doing 10 wraps of 24 gauge of the Anarchist wire on the Hexohm is because you don't want to build too low on your Hexohm. You know, you can even go with 11 or 12 wraps. I'd recommend that as well. Whatever you're most comfortable with. I wouldn't go any lower than 24 gauge personally. But again, that is up to you. This is just what I recommend. Okay, so let's put the tools away. After we have our cotton in it, that's usually when I like to ohm it out. I'll just insert it here on the ohm reader just to check to see whereabouts we are. Okay, so this is showing me that it ohms out at about a 0.30. Earlier in this video, I believe I said it ohmed out lower than that. I was mistaken. So this is about perfect for a Hexohm, I would say. I know I said you can build down to a 0.2, which is true. I wouldn't go that low or any lower though. Again, even with a 0.3 with Hexohm, you'll see how much power it has. So what I'll do is shut this off, put it on the Hexohm, and give it a try. So as you can see, with the 0.3 on Hexohm, you still get quite a lot of vapor production. And this is a 60-40 juice, one of my favorite juices, Malicious, favorite flavor, Voices. So let's see how this works. So great vapor production, a lot of flavor. This is my favorite build for the Hexohm. Again, it's a 10 wrap of 24 gauge Anarchist wire around a 3mm bit. The watts that I run this, the Hexohm at is right around here, let's see. Right around 70. Let's see. There's no digital screen on the Hexohm. Sorry, there's no digital screen on the Hexohm. It's just a plain, simple box, and why I love them. It's one of my favorite box mods I've ever used. Try that again. Let's turn it up a little bit. See where it goes. Turn it up right around to 90. And there you have it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments below, and we will be sure to fulfill those questions for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Again, this is Big Phil with Local Vape Distribution and Team Anarchist West Coast.